No. It finished right on time that time. That's fine. We got it. Let's go. Let's make this happen. Come on, it's right over here. Do the thing. There we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today, what day is today? Oh my gosh, can you believe it? Today is February 1st, 2024. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How are you doing there, chat room? We are broadcasting live to YouTube and to Twitch. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Got a little cup of Good Morning America there for me. I'm frustrated and happy to see that I found a way forward, because I was doing work on TagZap Tuesday after stream, and I'm going through and I'm writing code. I'm doing Blazor things, and I was working on a new machine because I wanted to get the whole new install experience, make sure that was working properly. So I logged in, and it automatically built out the tables in my database. Yes. Turned on moderation. Moderation panel didn't immediately appear for me. So I log out, and logout button isn't working. I keep getting an anti-forgery issue being reported by the server. Oh, the anti-forgery token isn't the same as the one that was submitted. I'm like, what the heck? And I go back and I remove and re-add everything, and nothing. I spent the better part of a day fighting this thing. And I went back and I looked at the default template. Everything worked just fine. So then I did what many developers do. I started comparing line for line. How am I configuring my logout button? It's literally the exact same features, minus a little CSS, as what's in the default template. Okay. How have I configured the logout service? Line for line, I didn't change a thing. Exactly the same. Okay. So how have I configured the website? Well, there's a lot of things that have been added to TagZap versus the default application. But line for line, I'm looking, and I discovered that I added the calls to use authentication and use authorization. And they aren't, for some reason, in the default template. I removed them and everything worked. And this leads to an interesting conversation and an interesting concept that I want to go through and talk to you about today, as we get things started, because it was a decision to notably update and make it easier to configure ASP.NET websites. However, it might not have been entirely the right decision. Let me get some music playing here in the background. Bring in the chat room, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. I'm gonna go to the synthwave playlist. Darn it! And I don't want the first song. I want to start a little bit further down. Let's go somewhere down here. Let's go to let's go to this one. This is called Race. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Use it wherever you'd like out there on the internet. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for making this music that we're listening to today. How we doing, chat room? Did my websites break here? I haven't seen any updates in the chat room. The chatbot is showing me folks coming and going, but I'm not seeing any messages. I'll bring up the chat room. I'm not sure. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Blim. Good to see you, McNets. Yes, I am on YouTube, and the Restream bot should be passing messages back and forth between them. Yeah, there it goes. And Chris Jones, good to see you. Fishbelly on Twitch. Hello, hello. So, I've been a program manager on the ASP.NET product. And what's a challenge when you build a product that's being used by hundreds of users, thousands of users, Oh, yeah, I'm on YouTube. Yes, the premiere of that podcast with Lana Lux. Yeah. How you doing there? Toon Chavez, welcome. And Jean Valjean, that's coder 24601 to you. Hello. Pause for a second. Yes, I was on Lana Lux's podcast called Headshot, where she interviews folks from the tech community and talks about all kinds of topics. Gosh, we talked for almost 2 hours. Now, I think she only grabbed 45 minutes there to publish, but that was published this morning. Really happy with how that went. We had just an amazing conversation, and we just kept on going, talking about all kinds of things. I wouldn't be surprised if you see us do another one of those in the not too distant future. Yeah, just a great time. No, it's not live. It's a premiere on YouTube. So, previously I was a program manager on the ASP.NET product, and many of you out there, you're software developers, you have users who use your products, and when you make changes to your products, you move a menu item around, you add additional features, you want to make sure that you don't disrupt your customers' way that they're using the product. To that end, the .NET team has very strict rules around how new features are added. Their new features are always additive, and removing features takes a while because they'll mark them as obsolete, and it's a long time before they actually remove an API. Link to what, 404? How you doing there, high tech redneck? Say it right, Fritz. Chat. Hello. So the decision that appears to have been made. Hey, C# Titan. Greetings to you in Australia. Hope you're having a good evening. Hello. It didn't replicate that message over into Twitch here. Is it Zolt asking, I wonder how I can summarize the current state of ARM. Clearly, the Apple community, the mobile community, is all in on ARM devices. And because of the nature of those very closed ecosystems, they're just forcing everybody onto, here's the new processor, here's the new thing, go use it. And they can draw that line and force that scenario, right? Not really as much a thing with the phones, but certainly with the Mac ecosystem, they drew a line and said everybody's going to do this. And they say, oh, well, we've also got emulators so that your existing stuff will still work. It still worked significantly slower. Like, there was a penalty if you used something that wasn't written specifically for ARM. I think those ecosystems are all in on ARM. It's clear to me that the massive hardware and software ecosystem around Windows is not ready for ARM. They're trying. .NET applications that can recompile and run on ARM is something that we've been able to do since day one of .NET because of the .NET just-in-time compiler architecture. Because way back in the day, they supported the ability to recompile for 32-bit or 64-bit applications. And now you don't even think about it. Everybody's got 64-bit. ARM does cause a bunch of problems because it's not entirely compatible. And our software isn't smart enough to adjust going across. Hey there, Kiss My Pixels. Hello.
Wow, finally caught another stream. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Thank you so much. So, the tools are getting there. The software is getting there. The hardware manufacturers, the drivers aren't there on Windows yet because it is such an open ecosystem. This is the challenge with having open ecosystems. When you want to modify something that's at the base of that ecosystem, it takes a long time to move everyone. When you have a closed ecosystem, you can move stuff and say it's broken until you get there. Get there. So that it's definitely improved significantly, the ARM ecosystem for Windows users. It's definitely improved significantly, but it's got a ways to go still. Is there a new Windows Dev Kit device in planning? Don't know. I'm not familiar. This one's an older device that I've been using, and it's been all right. Like, it works. I had a good time using it. There's some quirky things with the video adapters. That's just the way it is. There's quirky things with the video adapters. Hey, Warm Peas, hello. Some of the video adapters work, some of them don't. When you plug in power one way, it works. When you plug in power another way, it doesn't. So, continuing talking about the APIs and changing things. So when you, and it plays into this ARM discussion also. So when you change things, you want to enable as much backwards compatibility as possible. So in changing the way, there we go, got my gunners on. Changing the way that ASP.NET configures is an admirable thing because they want to make it easier and simpler for folks to be able to do. Write less code. In doing that, sometimes they hide things. No, we're not continuing on ARM, sorry. No, it's regular normal development. So here's a little bit of what I ran into and what I saw, and head over to the code here. And I want to make sure that you're aware of this because this is a big change that will bite you if you don't know about it. This is Sandro, and they opened a ticket similar to what I was literally calling the Blazor team about. Redirect to login from cookie handler not working behind a proxy. Very similar to this. And I want to show you the issue in action, as it were. Nah, I don't need to go that way. We can just go through Visual Studio. Raspberry Pi 5 mounts a Broadcom quad-core ARM. Cool. That's very cool. I'm going to create a new project. Thank you. I'm going to create a Blazor web app. Sure. Blazor app 9. I'm going to turn on authentication. It doesn't matter where render mode is. I'm even going to turn it to none just to show you. Sure, include sample pages. That's fine. And we'll get this started. And I want to show you exactly what's going on here and then talk through it and how we can fix this. Here we go. Too many choices, Juan Van. This is where I think opinionated frameworks and opinionated tool sets become valuable. So I'll start this. Come on. That's really taking a long time. What do you think you're doing there? Thank you. So here it is, and there's a page with authentication required, and if you try to go there, it routes you over here. I'm going to register as a new user. So Jeff at jeffreyfritz.com. Password, sure. Yep, register. Sure, go ahead, apply the migrations. No, don't add that to LastPass. Refresh the schema. Because it's that first time. Yep, go ahead, confirm my account. And now I can come back and log in. And boom, I'm logged in. Thank you, go away. So, and I can get to a page that has authentication required. When you look at the source code underneath of this, not Endpoints Explorer, come here. It adds authorization and authentication right there. .NET Core is 10 years old this year. I know because I joined as it was being released. No, they didn't do a Rust Foundation thing. In every version of .NET Core, up until .NET 8, you had to add app use authentication, use authorization. More so than that, identity is enabled. Here's the documentation. ASP.NET Core 8, identity is enabled by calling use authentication. App use authorization is included to ensure it's added in the correct order should the app add authorization. So, why aren't these in the default template? No, this is not live digital dummy. Nope, totally. Totally not. Nope. Sorry. No, wait a sec. That worked. Hang on. Go away. Why did that work? Is it they were in the wrong place? Because this broke left and right on me. Raspberry Pi is going to IPO. That feels weird. There it is. Use anti-forgery adds authentication and authorization. These two, when you add them as a second pass, throw an error because it's logging in and checking an anti-forgery token a second time. So what this gentleman, what Sandro, I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume gentleman, what Sandro identified is here in the web application builder, if there is an authentication scheme provider and it doesn't contain authentication middleware, call use authentication. So you end up calling use authentication twice, is what's happening here. Same thing with authorization. This automatic add. And this is automatically being added because of the anti-forgery. Well then. So, what's interesting to me is it's checking if on the web application builder to automatically add it. There should be a check on the other side under use authentication that checks to see if it already has registered. If it's already there, it's not checking to see if it's there. It's the only check is throw if null. Check to see if it's there. If it is there, don't go and add the middleware a second time. Right? So the question is, for that one, right? Where'd it go? I was here. Can we control click and open that? Yep. Same thing for use authorization. I love that I can control click and drive through references of these things. So here's use authorization, and it does a verify services registered, and then it calls app use middleware. Let's do a check here on line 29 that says, hey, if I'm already registered, you don't need to do this again. Fish cup.
F1CHK0PP just resubscribed for 4 months.
Thank you so much for the resub. Really appreciate it. So looking at this, right? If we turn on, turn on blame here on line 433. You see this was added to automatically register them. And it was added as part of .NET 8. That is a great way to try and help out and minimize the amount of things needed to build an application, because configuring a web pipeline is hard. There's a lot in there, right? Should automatically register when associated services are added. And it was approved and added in April. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to open an issue going the other way. When automatically adding auth Z, auth N, right? Isn't that what they called it? Auth N/Z is what they called it. No, just when adding. Check if middleware is already added. Issue this. Automatically adds auth Z and middleware if services are registered. If use authentication or use authorization are called manually in the configuration process, it creates an error scenario indicating issues with anti-forgery. Is it going to know?
We know.
And knowing is half the
That's
battle.
not the right hat. That's really not the right hat. Like, the hat detection's gotten...
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
No. Nowhere close. Can we add a check in use auth NZ to prevent duplicate middleware addition. And where was it? Right there. Here. Executing use authentication, use authorization should not trigger an anti-forgery error. And what we did was no. Update the default template to include register, right? Log in as a new user, and then attempt to log out. I flip-flop the order. Auth NZ. Make sure. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, got it there. And NZ. Yep. And where's the error? Ta-da. .NET version. Why won't you let me submit? Yes, I have searched. There we go. So, but what's also confusing is it's also in the documentation. ASP.NET authentication middleware is added by calling use authentication. In identity, identity is enabled by calling use authentication. Prevent cross-site scripting with anti-forgery. When enabled manually, anti-forgery middleware must run after authentication and authorization middleware. Yeah. So they put it in to do it automatically. That needs to be indicated here. Anti-forgery support in Blazor. And it says nothing about authentication or authorization. Blazor uses the existing authentication mechanisms to establish users' identity. So, it is. Kiss my pixels, it is very confusing. So, I see a couple of solutions to this. Ignore when double adding middleware, the use authentication, use authorization middleware, right? Update the code so that that's fixed. That's going to require folks to patch. Can we get that out in a 8.0.2 patch? Maybe. Another solution would be to add an analyzer that detects hey, you called use authentication, use authorization after use anti-forgery. Use anti-forgery detects and properly doesn't call use authentication, use authorization a second time. So if we move this up and rerun, it works. Can we get an analyzer that says, oh, you're running these in the wrong order? Does anti-forgery have a way to personalize? No, it doesn't. So now logout works. So these are okay to add, but you have to add them after anti-forgery. So, and even then, the use statements here, there's no parameters to pass in. The configuration for those services are done up here when you're doing the add services. So, Red King, to your question of is there a way to customize, when you add the services up top here and you configure them, that still works the same way. That hasn't changed. So, and look, I get it. There is 60 some lines of code here to configure and get this thing running. And what we'd really like is to simplify all of this nonsense to half dozen lines of code. For the 90% scenario, half dozen lines of code. 7 hours in meetings. Oh, I'm sorry. Good to see you, Thindall. Welcome. Alu the Crow. Hello. A couple members of the Live Coders stream team. Make sure you check out the team. There's all kinds of great folks there that are live coding here on Twitch. So when we talk about building things that are backwards compatible, updating and changing APIs, it's great to simplify things. You need to provide documentation that it happened. You need to provide so that the existing syntax still works. And that's all we're suggesting here is, hey, just check and make sure that if that is called, don't execute it a second time. So, and that's what I did in TagsApp, and we got that working. Yeah, I do want to stop debugging. Thank you. So, I wanted to share that with you so that you're aware of what happened and if you were tinkering with TagsApp, what exactly broke a little bit of what's going on in there. Yesterday, I released episode 7 of the C# in the Cards series. Really great stuff. To get that one out, I was behind. I'm preparing episode 8. Episode 7 is all about using if and switch statements. So the video is available out on YouTube. You can find it on my YouTube channel. There's a playlist pinned there. But if you go out to the website and you scroll down here, there's episode 7, Decisions with If and Switch. And here's the video and all the content. I went after that children's facing card game that I think we've all played at one point or another, Go Fish, right? Hey, do you have any 5s in your hand? If you do, give me your 5. So on and so forth. Do you have any 6s? No, Go Fish. And how that flow happens. So there are, as always, there are notebooks that you can open directly in your browser if you want to try these out. And you can download and work with them locally if you'd like as well. So, but I encourage folks always, especially with this one, go in and tinker with some of the settings and some of the things and have a good time with it. So let me catch up a little bit on chat over there. Close these. And I think we're going to get really close on this one today. Linter saying that anti-forgery already calls. So Red King, we have a compiler in Visual Studio. So we can do things like adding an analyzer that the compiler will execute and raise an error scenario. Hey, you shouldn't have this here. And those same errors will be flagged in our editors. Visual Studio Code will reflect and show, right? We can put an error message there. Hey, you've called use authentication twice. There's an implicit that's happening over here that that you need to pick up and be aware of. But then again, the analyzer isn't needed if they change it so it detects and doesn't double at it. You were in a discussion with one of these days, weeks time stream. You want to do a live code streaming, Jed? Drop me a line if you need some help getting started. You want to try and figure out how to start your journey. Always happy to help and get folks pointed in the right direction to join the live streaming community. Thindall was in a discussion with someone a week ago where they said that Blazor WASM wasn't an option. Hang on. What? Because the framework was so big. I said it's just a couple of kilobytes. He said it was 6 megs. That's right. The pruning is crazy. And your node modules must be tiny if you think that 6 meg is big. I've deleted node modules folders just to add a framework, a JavaScript framework to an application. I've deleted them and literally recovered hundreds of megabytes. Did my PR to the Blazor template go through? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think it did because I would have received a message on that. Oh, look, I was tagged on the throat punch list. No, it has not been merged. I submitted that on December 21st, right before the end of year break for most folks. Please rerun. You can do this by leaving an AZP run comment. All right, let me do that. Here, I'll bring that screen up so folks can see. Thank you for reminding me. So I'll comment that here. This issue that we're referencing is right here. The issue here is sign-in manager should be fetched from services. So if I go back to that app 9 that we were building, and if we look at, right, see the sign-in manager there? If you have lots of other things registered and going on, it will choke on this and say, I don't know where to get this from. So to just make it explicit, hey, pull this from services, makes it a little bit clearer and doesn't break the application to do that, because it is coming from services. And if you look, all the other code that's bringing in the sign-in manager, right? There's my change right there. All the other code that's referring to those various dependencies. This one doesn't pull in sign-in manager, but they all have from services, hints on those. So, right, this doesn't, right, it doesn't break anything to put that on there. So, I think it's a valid suggestion to bring the code in line with the rest of these. And the issue that it references, logout endpoint does not explicitly request sign-in manager, and should explicitly declare this as referenced in those other endpoints. And it was triaged to the identity group. So we'll see what they say. But we told it to rerun validation, and it's still building. There's a lot of build processes here. I dropped the link to the GitHub issue there. You can see it in chat both on YouTube and on Twitch. You can clearly see they've got a lot of steps that they go through to validate that things build properly here. So check that out. And because this is open source, you can actually look at everything that happens here when you send a pull request and they start building it, right? That's pretty cool. Oh, come on. Go back to Tags app. Here. We're going to dive in and talk about the next bit here. So let me go back over to chat. So yeah, DGen 1, it's hanging there. We'll see what the team says. Talk of redundancies at work. Oh no, Warm Peas. Yeah. Big difference with JavaScript is that it can start executing while still loading. Why does it have to preload everything? Yes. In the case of WebAssembly with .NET, it does have to download a runtime first, cache it, and get running. However, after that first cache, it's immediate. And that's what's so great about Blazor on .NET 8. It does that pre-rendering. And that pre-rendering means that your application appears to run faster. And that's beautiful. Is React 200 meg? I don't know. I'm not a React developer. Your first concern about live streaming is about the viewers when you start. You've read it's okay to talk to yourself. It is. But find a couple friends to hang out with you and kind of seed the live stream. Let us know in my Discord if you want. Hey, you know what? I'm going to try live streaming. Anybody want to join me? You know, here's the date and time that we're going to be doing this. See how it goes. Doing well, Fit Cop. Good to see you. You found a mistake in the Blazor templates? What'd you find, Thindall? What did you find? Hard to talk at the beginning, but you get a hand of it. So, when I first started, like the videos from my first live coding streams are on YouTube. When I first started, I was used to presenting and recording training sessions for Pluralsight. So I kind of leaned into that type of approach. So, hey, I received 100 messages. Look at that. Thanks, Restream. So, hey, lanky Scottish nerd, good to see you. All right, let's dive in here. Go back over to the Blazor migration. We'll work on this. One template does add HTTP client, another does add transient. Yeah, because there's two different features there. It doesn't work the same way in the two. It is different. So, feels like add transient and then injecting an HTTP. Nope, it's right. Most people with WebAssembly size problems are referencing external libraries that can add bloat. Yes. They can. Thought conference and user group presentations would help with streaming. No. Jeremy, that's a fantastic point. Hang on. This point right here, and my colleagues make this mistake a lot. This medium, what you see here, this whole thing, right? Over there, a little bit down here. This is not a presentation at a conference. This is talk radio. This is an interactive medium. If you get on the Twitch, you get on the YouTube, and you are giving a presentation live, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, great, you give your presentation, people see it, they're going to have feedback for you. But you could do that by just recording and publishing the video. You don't actually need to be there if you're not going to interact with chat. If you're not going to interact with your viewers. That's called television, what you're doing. Where you're just recording and saying, here it is. And you're just going to watch and respond to chat. The comments on the video afterwards. That's television. We know how to do that. And YouTube does it quite nicely with moderation on their chat messages and whatnot. And Twitch is not configured for that. Live is where we should be interacting and talking to each other and getting folks interested and feeling included in a discussion, in a topic, in whatever it is that we're either working on or playing, or that's the beauty of live. It's the same as hanging around and looking over somebody's shoulder. So when you first start live coding, yeah, you're effectively giving a presentation and talking to yourself. You'll find an audience. You will. But once you find the audience, talk to them, engage them. There will come a point where your audience becomes too large to read and respond to every message. It happens. That's a thing. It totally is a thing. And you'll have moderators that help to raise the profile of certain messages. Hey, make sure you check in and respond to what Warm Peas is saying here, or whatever the case may be. That's what makes a live stream, a live video, engaging, interesting, and what people will pay attention to. I happen to be in a topic area here that not a lot of folks are interested in. Comparatively, .NET is very niche compared to, and that kind of blows me away when you look at the number of users. Go and Rust, these tools are significantly less used, but there's a lot of interest in folks watching and learning about them. So it's interesting like that. But that's part of the reason why I broadcast on YouTube as well, is because I know that the enterprisey folks that are using .NET don't have access to Twitch during the day. They do have access to YouTube. And I'm falling back into radio voice. So it grows, it changes, the audience shifts. You learn to deal with that. But talking to and engaging and having that collaborative experience, that's what makes things interesting. Thindoll prefers live coding over YouTube because it shows that not everyone is perfect. Yes. However, there are folks who are have very short attention spans, and they just want to see the answer. They just want to know the results. And that's why I paired the C# in the Codes video, C# in the Cards video series with a website that has all of the exact same content. So if you just want the answer, I say it right at the beginning. Link to the code and the samples are below. You can open it and work with it interactively. Like, it's there. Go do it. Right? So if you don't want to watch the video, if you don't want to take the 10, 15 minutes and watch and learn from it, that's fine too. We've got links to the content. Make it easy for folks to get to it. What helped you is your second game streaming channel? Tell me more. You're going to give up your job and sit at home? Oh, Sean, no. You want to do .NET things, but also do CAI and AI code? Yeah, that's very cool. Aries, you really enjoy computer science. Very cool. I want to get more folks interested in computer science, but there's areas of our educational community that aren't interested in that. You don't have access to Twitch at work? Oh, no, Jeremy. Mythin with a question here, wondering what's currently best practice in applying your migrations. I usually do this in middleware when booting the application, but this is getting harder, and I noticed me using command files with Tags app. So I did, Mythin, I did write some scripts to help with the building migrations, building them. I do also have a script to update the database automatically. Yes. I have a method that it calls at the top of Tags app getting started that checks to make sure that the database is migrated. It is... I'm going to find it. Configuration... I think it's here? Nope. There's a place where it jumps off. Yeah, there it is. And it calls the migration. There it is. Migrate test. Context database migrate async. It's in my app extensions class. I'll show that in a minute here. So, hey Goku Jax. Can I tell you how social media like Facebook auto-renew JOT tokens? They have very long expiration, and when you come back to the website, as you continue to navigate around, they automatically renew it. They say, oh, it's going to expire in 5 days, 2 days, and they update the JOT at that point. So it's not hard to do. You just need to inspect and set the JOT to expire, right, for a very long time. So, you've been playing with Nano Framework a lot recently with some ESPs. They're cool to learn with. Oh, very cool. I do like the idea of idempotent scripts with CI/CD. I do like that, right? Idempotent meaning you can rerun it and it doesn't break things. That the migrate async call that Entity Framework has, context.database.migrate async, will do that for you on every launch, and you can see it inside of Tags app. I'll show you that in a second here. 2 days of streaming in a row. No, I didn't stream yesterday. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. So tomorrow, I need to work out my schedule here. I might need to push it. I hope I don't. Tomorrow, we're going to have, we should be having our friend Carl Franklin on. We're going to work through and talk about some of the challenges around managing state with Blazor and how pushing that around gets a little dicey, especially as you move from server rendered and server interactive content to WebAssembly interactive content. No, long live JOT is not super safe. No. That's why they have a panel on the website, on the social media websites, to go and revoke tokens. And even though the token is still out there on whatever machine, you revoke it and that token doesn't work any longer. You see this with services like Hulu and Netflix, where you've approved various browsers and devices to be able to log into your Hulu or Netflix account, and you can reject and kick them off when you go to their website. Are we on Raspberry Pi? No, we're not old school. No. We're not going to be on a Raspberry Pi right now. I have, and we're going to go through this. I have a page, the migration page. We're going to move the moderation page. I'm going to talk about migration. We're going to move the moderation page to WebAssembly, and making that move means we're going to move things to SignalR, and instead of a service that we put out there, we're going to reestablish a SignalR service out there. There was a great article. Oh my gosh, where was that? I believe it was on the .NET blog. No. Not specifically this one. That's not the one I'm looking for. Who did that? Somebody beeped me. This one. Microsoft Office's real-time channel. Updated to modern .NET with SignalR. 30% reduction in CPU use. 30% reduction in virtual machine cost of goods sold. 60% reduction in memory. 50% average decrease in latency. That's massive. Massive updates. So this is moving from HTTP modules and handlers to ASP.NET Core SignalR server. So it had to be a rewrite to go from ASP.NET Framework to ASP.NET Core. And high CPU from IIS. So they're switching from IIS to Kestrel in the future. High CPU from SignalR Core. And they think it's an issue in the SignalR source code that they're going to work through. So here's a situation where Microsoft Dog Foods uses their own tools and products that are available for you in other much, much higher used services. I don't care what size application you're building. It's not as big as Office. The Office folks are going to fix these things in SignalR, improve these things in SignalR, and you're going to get the benefit of that. That's pretty cool, right? And you can see in their diagrams how they went from .NET Framework to .NET Core, and it's a massive change in performance. Right? Memory usage, 60% decrease, and they think they can take that down even lower. API latency. Look at this. Look at the spikes there. Gone. Gone after they do the migration. And that's, right? They're not even on .NET 8 yet. So they're going to get to ASP.NET Core SignalR in the Office client applications. They're going to go to IIS and Kestrel, from IIS to Kestrel, and this is going to get even better. Really cool stuff. This article that just came out yesterday is about building Microsoft Copilot. That uses SignalR and .NET 8 as well. And they showed how they're using the various UI tools, but they're going to start using Azure SignalR service so they can scale that better. But it's getting there. Those are things that are very high scale that as they take these additional steps to migrate and use newer versions of SignalR, we're going to reap the benefits as developers from Bing, Microsoft Copilot, and Office using .NET and making it better. That's so cool. No, that's not the theme. I gotta remove the theme command. We don't have a theme for February. So, all right. So where I'm going, where I want to work today, is getting that moderation screen. The moderation screen right now. No, close that one. I already had it on these pages. The moderation screen currently uses interactive server components, right? There's 5 different ways that you can run Blazor. Static with streaming. Interactive on the server, where we can handle clicks and other events that happen on the page on the server automatically. Interactive WebAssembly, where it's just like running JavaScript in the browser. You have full control over adding and removing things to the screen, changing and responding to various events that happen in the browser. And auto mode, where By default, we're going to ship things from the server pre-rendered, and while we're waiting for WebAssembly content to download, we're going to respond to things on the server as though it was interactive server side. But once things are all downloaded and ready to go with WebAssembly, it flips the switch, and next time you visit the page, it'll run very high speed effectively in the client with WebAssembly. So let me log in here. Yes. And right, you can see the slow performance coming back and forth from the server when I just mouse over here, and it takes so long to update. Right? I'm going to change that so that it's SignalR and it's running with WebAssembly on the client. And your chat messages should start appearing here while this is running, because it is listening to Twitch. But I'm going to literally pick up everything from this horizontal border up at the top. I'm going to pick up the whole shooting match and drop it into WebAssembly. Here we go. There you go. See, this is awesome. Jed says so. So, all the source code for this is available for you. You can find it on the website. Let me set up a project command here on Twitch. I haven't done that in a while. Migrating the moderation Blazor page to WebAssembly. Source at, there's the link, and there's the bot. I will pin that message on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link to the source code just below in the description, okay? This link isn't on Twitch, so folks can go grab that now. So there you go. And hello world. Yeah, Warm Peas with the hello world right there. So, all right. Let's pick up and move this, John. Let's pick up and move this, John. So, there's the migrate task I was talking about. So this is in my Postgres configuration. So after it goes and configures everything and sets up all the repository information and the database context, go and migrate. If we need to, migrate it. And the migrate task is a static task that's back here in the background. It's going to run, and it'll keep that task in memory, won't it? It'll dispose it automatically when this thing's disposed. Well, no, it's static. It'll never get cleared up, will it? It's okay. All right. So we have this moderation razor page here, right? Get rid of you. And it's got information about who's authorized to use this and whatnot. By putting this in the WebAssembly bits means that folks are going to be able to decompile and get to this code. So I don't want to put anything secret in here. And look at these using statements. We're going to be able to clean up and get rid of a bunch of these. I think we should. So the moderation message here, this should be going also to WebAssembly, and we shouldn't have too much of an issue with that. So yeah, I'm just going to copy it to start. There it is down there. And this is going to get upset. Oh my gosh, there's two of these. Ah, I don't know what to do. Panic. Red alert. Red alert. Yeah, I know. That's right. I'm going to take moderation message and I'm going to drop it into components as well. And I just want to double check. This one's okay. It's not referencing things that aren't there or additional services that don't exist. So where did moderation go? You. Gonna remove that. Now the new moderation that I just moved into place. It doesn't know what some of these things are. So we're going to need to move them. Like, it doesn't know what that is. Like, I can change this to just, I believe it's just moderator. Right? Yeah. Hello? Are you kidding? I control tabbed and you're hanging? What? What? Scott! Come on, man.
It can be done exactly how I want it.
It's going to restart it. That's how.
The only question is, are you the man to do it?
No, not really. I'm just a guy with a bad haircut, wearing an ugly hat, that's fixing stuff. Yeah, it's. I moved it. Yeah, we're going to be fixing you in a little bit here, let me tell you. It's right there, moderation. Let's go. And I tried changing this to just. No. Moderator. And I'm going to take this render mode off. No. I'm going to change this to just. Come on. Thank you. Now, some of these other things we got to teach it about. Chewing bubblegum and writing code, and you ran out of bubblegum. What do we got over here? How are you? Yeah, you're upset. Moderation doesn't know what identity is. We're going to be getting rid of moderation service because we're going to use SignalR instead. Yeah, you don't know what that is. You don't know what that is either. I don't want you to know what that is. But it does not know what a TagsApp user is. Where did I move? I thought I moved that into security. Yeah. I really don't want to pass that security context. Right, here's where decisions start to happen. I don't want to pass this into WebAssembly. Right, I don't want to pass information about how I access security information into the WebAssembly. So, where's it using this? When it adds the current moderator. Okay. I think it's already in the hub, but I'm going to remove it. And then I don't need this, because then it's all happening server side and it's just passing information back to us. How are we doing? How are we doing? Not bad. Okay. Lots of things we're keeping our eyes on here. So now there's things that it doesn't know what to do with. So right, new moderator is a feature here in the hub. I can push this into the view models because it's going to be passed back and forth between server and client. It's referenced only in moderation service, but it's going to be referenced here in the hub. So I'm going to grab this. Right. Data, content model, moderation, content model. I'm going to go into here. So now it knows what that is. There we go. Nice. One last thing. I don't think I need... Well, let's hold on to this one for a second. Yeah, it doesn't... Well, we don't need to know who the user is. Like, we know who the user is. It's elsewhere managed in the application. This, I think... You know what HTTP context is, dog. No? So here, the heartbeat stuff, this goes away. Which means I don't need this. These events are going to simplify dramatically. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let me go back over to Moderation Hub. Good thing I didn't delete this, eh? Okay. What? Give me my using statements back. Yep, I moved that. That's fine. Yep, bring back in Gravatar. Cool. And it knows who the user is because you're authenticated coming into this. So that should be pretty okay. And it does the exact same things it was doing before. Get current moderators, get filtered content by tag. The moderation client. Yeah, we'll be okay. So we should get a bunch of errors here still. Here we go. Doesn't know what to do with HTTP context. We needed the context so that we know who the user is. Moderator args. New content args on 287 and 299. This is actually going a heck of a lot easier than I thought. This is going to... Both of these are going to change slightly. But if I just comment them out, this should get close. The HTTP context stuff. Well, it doesn't know what this is. right? Yeah, look at all that stuff. Woo! You go away. We have to rebuild that. Don't. We should be able to get our user 271. Yep. We'll end up rewiring those with SignalR. Yeah, look at that. 302, 304 in the dispose. Here we go. So now it'll work, kind of. We'll at least be able to go to the page, but it won't do anything. See? But this is now a WebAssembly page, which means it's going to run significantly faster. But I got to wire it up so it goes and gets data from the server, not just across process boundaries. Now, this was something that I wanted to make server bound, and you had to be on the server to use this so that we weren't sending potentially sensitive data across the wire. I think we might be okay on this, though. So moderation service, right? Here, inside the SignalR notifier, I turned things around so they notified using moderation service, right? I'm going to turn this back into iHub context, moderation hub. Oh, and because that had a client on it, right, there's a... Right, iModeration client. So now I get... Can I do clients? There they are. And it wants a content model. New approved content. Here we go. New approved message. Yeah. Moderation content model. Right. Boy. And it would take content and action. There we go. And when we've got rejected clients, all new rejected message, moderation content model to moderation content model. Ta-da. Notify new blocked user account. Yep. Clients all. There we go. Done. That was easy. That worked out well.
60% of the time, it works every time.
No errors. Now we actually need to wire up the hub. Oh boy, here we go. So from the moderation page, let's see how we do. All right, so somewhere down here, we're gonna want a hub, right? A hub connection. Why don't we go to the documentation? Site, learn, Microsoft Com, SignalR, and Blazor. Blazor? Sure. I like some Blazor. Create it, add the SignalR client library. Do I need to add the client library? Is it already there? It might already be there. I don't know. Yeah, it's already there. Services and endpoint. Yeah. Really? Ooh, we need to map the hub. Right there. Ta-da. Oh yeah, we can remove that. That's fancy. Look at that right there. That's fancy. What am I building? Hey, Wonderball. We're building an application called TagsApp that allows you to manage messages coming in, happening out there in the social universe across several different services. We're supporting Twitch, Mastodon, X. There's some YouTube messages in here as well. Stuff coming in off of a website. There's some YouTube messages coming in. So, but we're going to add more features. But right now we're migrating this. This was built with JavaScript and HTML initially. We're migrating it to Blazor so that we've got a lot more horsepower under the hood that we can work with here. So, so we're implementing SignalR here so that it's using the same technologies that we were just talking about this, that Office and the chat apps, right? Microsoft Copilot uses to send messages two-way, push and pull from the server. So we're going to use SignalR here to send. This is the moderation page that'll do those interactions, and I'm just making sure that I use a similar approach here. So we're going to create a new connection. Just copy the whole stupid thing. And let's configure SignalR connection. Thank you. Do I need to await that? I don't know. Maybe. Don't need you. It's going to replace this stuff down here. Yeah. Right? Configure SignalR connection. Make sure I get it right. Too many things going on up here today. See, I even had it on the stack. All right, so we're going to create a new hub connection builder. And yeah, let's... Why don't you know what this is? Need a using statement. All right. So this creates a hub connection. All right, so private hub connection. We're making a connection here, friends. It's wonderful. Yep. Good. All right. It's using navigation there. We should be able to use, don't I have, yeah, Navigation Manager is the name of the John that I'm using for this one. I could split this screen. I probably should. And we're listening to it on /mod. All right. And then we're going to set up our various messages here. We do need to await this. All right, fine. don't want to break this thing up too much. Can you make a trading APK using this? You're trying to build one? Yeah, you can. Sure. Oh, thanks. I appreciate the subscription, Wonderbro. I don't have the subscription alerts wired up to YouTube, but thank you very much. Yeah, you absolutely can use SignalR with various clients so that you get that live interaction back and forth, not just from websites. There are clients available for .NET MAUI, for Xamarin before that, and of course things like C++ and a bunch of other programming languages. And I'm almost positive there's one for Android out there that you can use. Okay. See, I even did a bit of that there. So on new message, yeah. Right, this stuff should work. I'm going to remove this one. We should get an okay. You didn't rebuild anything. Rerun. There we go. Come on. You can do it.
You can do it!
See? The confidence, it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's so satisfying. And back over here, and we'll go to the moderation screen. Ta-da. Unauthorized. Ugh. I need to pass security information back about who the current logged in user is. So when this is configured right here, we need to pass in how to make that connection. What else do we have here? Transports? No. Configure HTTP connection. I bet you that's where it is. Oh, yeah, if you do, Xbox, please. Right. SignalR, Blazor, authentication. Yeah, if you have a link to something, well, that might be a pretty good article right there. That's TypeScript, C#, options to access token provider. But where's it getting? Okay, we ran into this before. To get that access token. Right? So with URL and then, yeah, options, right? And then this options pattern. Right. Are you kidding? Do I have auth state here? I do. Dude, if that works. Right, that's the unauthorized we got previously. Rebuild. Here we go. Started. No. That's not right. That's the authentication state. No. Where's it getting my access token? Cookie container for each item in request cookies. Da, da, da. The context is there. Like, the token is available. No. Back up. It's in as an identity cookie. But I should be able to pick this off. Like, this article feels half complete. Not that one. I am using cookie authentication. No extra configuration is needed. But so you're effectively forcing you're creating and forcing the cookie onto it. Not opposed to it. Like, it isn't just working with cookies the way that it describes it. So you go with a container equals new cookie container. It's not in JS runtime. Well, wait, where are you getting the HTTP context? See that. Right? Like, it shouldn't be a task. You're injecting the I. Yeah. Come here. Why isn't it finding it? I know there's a thing. But it's like it should be passing down. Yeah, the authentication state. Nope, it's not registered. Yeah, it's not. No. No, it's not there. Mm-mm. It's available as a cascading parameter. Will not work if you're in WASM. Wait a sec. No wonder it wanted to do it with. Yeah, see, look at it, how it wants to get it, but it's not. Yeah, it wants to run through HTTP context accessor. Info is unavailable on the client. You must not use HTTP context accessor within Blazor apps. Accessing the HTTP context in Blazor WASM doesn't make sense. But I need it to get to the cookies. Well, that's from 2020. iAccess token provider. You're using it server side, right? I should be able to get it here using one of the APIs, right? Authentication state provider is... No, not you. I want this one. Right? That's been made available, and I have it right there. Get the authentication state that describes the current user. Yeah. Move you up here somewhere. And on that, we have, there's the user. Authentication type. Yeah, how do we get access token? Task string get access token. Token. Go ahead, write that for me, Copilot. Get the access token for the current logged in user. You make me sad. No. Over here. Task returns the user info. A new authentication state. Get authentication state async should return an authentication state which has the identity in it and the principal. Hey, Napalm. Like, I don't want to use cookies to go get it. Yeah. And then it's like it's hiding. What else do we have here? Just get authentication state async is all we've got. And that returns the current user. Well, it's a claims principle. Oh, hang on. Is the token in one of the claims? No. It's the user ID and email. That's it. Not terrible. I mean, I can use that. No. Not that one. Attach tokens to outgoing requests. Yes, please. No. No. iAccess token manage additional parameters. No. Have a good one, Xbox. Passing additional scopes. No. Mm-hmm. Configuring authorization message handler. Yeah. Authorized URLs, scopes, base address. Typed HTTP client. Nice? No. Where do we get the token? Where do we get the token? Request additional access tokens. Yes. Token provider request access token. Where do we get to inject iAccess token provider? Really? Is that it? Is that it? Is it my birthday? Is that all we needed? Like that? Do you know what that is? You do. You do. Okay. So, can I say request access token? That's a value task. All right. Right, and that is a access token result. It's is that all I That's TypeScript. Access token provider. Where did my access token come from? Yeah. Where'd that come from? The access token function provided needs to be called before every HTTP request. Okay. So is it, if that's a func of task of type string, then is this then token provider dot like that? No. Access token provider. It's not that. Yes, it is still a Blazor backend, yes. So it's doing this. Stop it. Stop. What the heck is that? Right? So that's now an access token result. Out access token. My access token. Sure. But this wants to be a... So... Do I take these two? Right? No, it was over here. I'm not even going to put that if. Right. Parentheses. Yeah. Was that what I needed? Rebuild. Yep, that's right. I'm on the latest episode of the Headshot podcast. Yep. Not all code paths return. Yeah, this thing that I started. But I just moved in line, effectively. Does that work? iService collection. Oh. Right, I still had the HTTP context accessor. Come on. Get there. Get there. No. We did all that. Cannot provide a token provider. I agree with you. But it says we don't need. When using the browser client, no extra configuration is needed. Cookies can be configured. Additional security scenarios. Authorization message handler. Right. And when I search for Signal R, it's not on this page. HTTP client, and that's using a secured one passing token back and forth. Yeah, this is... No. It's looking for a cookie. Because I told it to use cookies. Yeah. It's not the same as the default behavior. Like, we've got proof that it's not. It's trying to still inject. What? Oh. Hey, Moshiko. And there it is. And if we look at this, right, there we are logged in. Set cookie, anti-forgery. ASP.NET Core Identity Application. There it is right there. Okay. Anti-forgery. Now, we got the 500. Where's the 500 coming off of? Connection start async. It's doing this during pre-render. Oh, come on. Really? It's not even getting... wait a sec. It's not even attempting to connect to it. Yeah, third-party cookies they're trying to get rid of. Rebuild that. Like the waterfall page that we do have out here is WebAssembly, and it does connect and it does listen for messages. This one where we're trying to do because it's pre-rendered. It didn't connect to the moderation bit. It also didn't render anything on screen. Why not? Still nothing. Still nothing. What? What's it waiting for? Still nothing. It should render messaging service doesn't exist. We should be getting that's why. Okay. Okay. So if I remove that, this should break now. Okay. Just to get it to run. Yeah, I removed it. Yeah, commented. Yeah. but I'm still not getting anything on the page. Things are going well, Speedy. How are you? Does Blazor have support? What? Support for Tailwind. Yeah. There we go. Now, all right. Ugh. Okay. Let's go back and start lighting up the connection again. So put that back in and make the connection to the service. That's getting a 200. Don't need database right now. So all of that nonsense that I was going through to try and get that working, I didn't change anything. I literally removed everything. Like, I don't even need that. That's weird. Okay. So, the moderation hub, when we connect, right, on connected, yeah, that's fine. We notify that there's a new moderator on disconnected. And we need to do that in our dispose over here. This was something else that was weird for us. Inside the moderation page, right? If, yeah, connection is not null. Async disposable. And this becomes dispose async. It's a value task. Wrong type. Ta-da. Cool. Come on. Oh, come on. You should have patched that. So let me move this up a little bit. So we got to go get the list of tags tracked. No, no. Thank you. We were outputting that information. Yeah, Coding Gorilla, we got it. Yeah, thank you. We were outputting that information directly into the page before. Well, it is here in the messaging service, so I could just add a method that is... Well, don't I have it in the... just add it here. Like, it is in the message hub. The other one that feeds the waterfall screen. Or not. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Okay. We can Actually, just make this like that. So now, right? It's right there. There's only one tag tracked right now in the application, and that's okay. Instead of doing it like that, we can say connection, right? Invoke async. Quote. Really? I think I just called it get tags, yeah. And we're just going to say first. Didn't do a hot reload on that. Got it. You know what? Let's get rid of the trim start. I'm okay with it. Yep, go ahead. Okay. Yeah, at least it didn't say the wrong hat. I'm surprised it's not picking up. I mean, the geek hat is...
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
No, that's not right at all. Whatever. I can go over here. There it is. Hot reload seems buggy again. It was actually much better. Close some of these things that I don't need. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So let's go back to get current moderators. We should be able to call that. Well, okay, blocked user count. Sure, we can. I think we can do that too. Invoke async. Right. It's not here. How did we get it before? Get blocked user count. Return service So get current blocked user count. There it is. So back over here. Yeah. I don't need to do a dot result. I can do an await on that. What happened there that we don't have the tag? Method does not exist. I don't think it rebuilt the server. Yeah, I do have much better results with .NET Watch, and it should be the same everywhere, but it's not. It's not. There we go. Okay. Like, there is a... Right, you see the little blip there as it loads the data and gets connected. I'm okay with that. Like, we could put some sort of a timer, right, spinner there as it's loading. I don't care. Okay. What's the next piece that we needed to add? The list of the current moderators. So moderators is a hash set of new moderators. And get current moderators is out there. So we can do this one. Put parens around that. Connection, invoke async. Right, and these are new moderator. And get current moderators. No, I didn't tell you to wrap. How dare you? Hot reload succeeded, but I don't think it actually did the thing. Hey. And it didn't remove me. Right, so if I go away, come back. Ta-da! Love that face. That's like a picture of me from 2012. Like, there are people watching this stream that are younger than that photo of me. That's a problem. All right, I don't really need the current username. And I don't need to do that. We do need to wire up the listen for content stuff. And then we need to initialize content. So yeah, this stuff that's down here, I'm going to end up adding as capabilities in here. Okay. How we doing there, chat room? What are we thinking? How's it going? I saw a couple folks listening to the podcast with Lana. Here, she even posted about this. This is our friend Lana Lux. We raid her occasionally. There we go. So, hey, I know that guy. Great talking to her. It was about a week and a half ago that we connected. That's not bad. So, content creation and more. Tune in for a great conversation. And let us know what. Let us know your opinions on some of the issues around. Nah, I don't want to go that far. There we go. So, bum, bum, bum. No. Uh-oh. What happened there? Kind of got logged out of Restream. Not kinda, I did. There we go. So, yep, there's the tweet. So if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, there you go. There's the link. If you want to go follow up and listen to the podcast. Like I said, it was a lot of fun chatting with Lana. Moving on here. Yeah, we're in good shape. Okay. So the listen for moderation content says things like, well, hey, when you get a new message, here's how you should respond. And a bit of this is actually... No, we're good. It's converted to .NET, to C# code there. But I still need to finish like getting and initializing the start content to paint on the page. Yeah. So the moderation hub has a get filtered content by tag method. And you can pass in different filters that you want it to search through. Hey there, Gene. Is it Gene or Jean? Let me know. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, it goes and gets everything if you don't pass one in. Let's do... just to be sure. Okay. So I'm going to get content get filtered content by tag, which is going to get that first block of content to paint on the screen. So go back over here. Right. Planes and coffee dogs. Hey, welcome. Initialize content. Yeah. Can we just call that? Can that do a thing here? Current content. That's pretty good. Except we changed this to now connection. Invoke async. Yeah. And that's going to bring back an IEnumerable of type moderation content model, right? And it's returning a moderation content model, so I don't need to do a select. It already is. And then it adds it to the sorted list. Is there an add range on that? So I can just say, add everything all at once. No. Bummer. Rebuild. Don't need to look at the debugger now, do I?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I sure do. I don't need to look at that. Here it comes. Loading, 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 not loading, broken, Maybe. Failed to invoke hash.net. Wow. Oh, I didn't pass. Invoke. I forgot to tell it. I did that wrong. Right. I need to tell it get filtered content by tag. And then I can pass it. Can I pass it arguments? Yes. Like that. Rebuilding. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot the name of the hub method. Still doesn't like it. An error on the server. There was an error on the server. That's not what that says. I don't see the error on the server. Why don't you tell me the error? Because it's looking for these values also, that's why. Fine. Really? No. Who dat? We're good. I mean, I guess I could just... right, I could just force include that stuff, right? So it wants a string array. New string. Like that. I could do just array.empty. Right? What the heck? Yeah. And then empty string. Rebuilding. Come on. Yeah. What, didn't you get any content? I don't want to put it there if that's here. Yep. Found 0 results for .NET with 0 providers in 3 states. Should have searched on all providers. Do I need to tell it all the providers? All right, let's bring back up Data Studio. Go ahead, connect. Come on now. I think we've got this. I think we've got this. Yeah, connect. Just, okay. Right, and it's going to get content. Hashtag sought is hash.net. So I shouldn't have to do that again. Providers contain C provider. All right, so go back over here. It doesn't know who the providers are, does it? Yeah, they're not there yet. Yeah, if I pass it Twitch, I can almost guarantee it's going to work. Right? What? 262, yeah, right there. What? Fine. Yeah, didn't like the string, the collection literal. There it is. I need a list of the current available providers. Get available providers. There we go. There they are. I want to select from them. And I can just return that directly. Don't need an async task on this. Where was it that we listed the providers? Right there. Provider display name, provider ID. Have I tried rewriting it in PHP? Oh, that's exactly what I should have done. That's exactly what I should have done.
It's illegal in 9 countries.
Oh, but it's illegal in 9 countries. I'm sorry. What if we do... That is so deadly. That's right. So no private IE numerable. No. Sure. I want to make it enumerable empty. So then down here, yeah, look at that. It should be get available providers. So then here, oops. And this needs to be just providers. That should load up. Maybe. Okay. What did we break there? Map provider to icon with that provider ID being passed in. It should have gone Twitch and Mastodon. Oh, you know what? Restart the service. Probably doesn't have the right data format coming out. I don't know, I just made that up. Sounded good at the time. Nope, still doesn't work. What do we got here? Provider button group. Well, it knows there's two of them. But it doesn't have the values correctly.
Oh my.
I know. Let's do this. Right, what if I do it like that? Then instead of trying to do this, I can say and then back in moderation. Because I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet that the trying to pass the value tuple across the wire is choking. Ah, there we go. And look at how much faster it responds to the mouse overs. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. right? And I can click into those and it still routes appropriately, right? And I can go back into the moderation page and now, all right, it takes a second to load there. I can put a spinner up on the page while it's loading. That's not terrible, right? Like, we can handle that. But now we can go through and wire up these other event handlers to make content appear. Friends, it took us about an hour and a half, but we lifted a very complex page that we had running server side with a hosted service. We moved it to running client side with SignalR, worked through and ran in a circle for a little bit here, trying to get some of the features wired up, but we got it. Ooh. I'm going to remove messaging service. Right? It's where is it? No, what did we call it? Or moderation service? What? It's a thing here. Right there, moderation service. You. Has 3 references. Get that thing out of here. Where's this map get? It just tried to point me to. Yeah. Go away. Don't need that. 2 to go. Where are the others? Service extensions, adding moderation service. 1 to go. And it's the constructor. Goodbye! Nice knowing you. Always feels good to delete code, right? Next steps. Got to finish wiring up the various listening capabilities here, the pause button, all that stuff. Completed. Ship it! Nope. So let's run a git status here. Not git, git. Migrated moderation screen to WASM. All right. Still got more work to do in here. Hold on to your butts. Let's see. So back on the moderation screen, we need to listen for when moderators arrive, depart, and when new content arrives so that we paint that on the screen. So listen for moderation content right here. What? We've already got that. Just to make it a little bit cleaner, that here's all the stuff down here. So when we get new waterfall message, if the pause button is paused, add it to the queue. Otherwise, add it to the panel. 236. Get rid of that. Thick cop. Oh my gosh.
F1CHK0PP cheered 100.
Thank you so much for the cheer. And I'll make another donation. Thank you so much. I don't think that restarted the page. There it is. but we should start getting messages flowing through. Or not. Oh, look at that. We just add... State has changed. What? Thank you. Rebuilding. We want to make sure that when you type in messages, they appear on screen. Like, the faster, the sooner, the better. You know what I mean? There it is. All right. We got that part working. Jed says it looks good. We're going to ship it. We have to handle approved messages, rejected messages, and getting those to paint appropriately. That's one we can do really easy. But it's not just state has changed. We need to invoke await invoke async. Oops. That's better. On new moderator. Yep. Moderators add. And hey, you know what we need to do as well? Await. Oh, I forgot the async deal here. Ta-da. Any tips for an upcoming interview with Microsoft? Asks Rocco. It's right there. I know Rocco put that message because it's right here. See, I'd love to be able to approve it, but the approve button doesn't work yet. Be yourself. Be truthful. Don't pretend you know an answer to a question. Don't try to fake it. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm not familiar with that. But from my understanding, here I would look up and try to get some advice from experts. But based on my understanding, here's where I might look for help. Here's how I might handle that situation. It's okay to say no. In fact, they're going to put you in situations to see when you say no. All right? So, like, don't be afraid to say, you know what, I don't know that. But here's where I would look for help. Here's how I would solve that problem or get started and start down the path to solve that problem. Does that make sense? Understand that the interview is a two-way conversation. It isn't just the interviewer asking you questions, but it's also you asking them questions. So they may present a scenario and say, "Hey, well, what do you think of this? How do you interact? How do you handle so and so?" Turn it around and ask them questions about it. Well, in my situation in the past, we had something similar where I went and we investigated and took care of these things. Now, I'm not sure if that's exactly the scenario you're talking about. Have I answered your question properly? Have I addressed a similar scenario to what you're thinking about? Do you want to discuss that further? When you finish the interview, turn around and ask them questions like, I think I did well here. I felt really comfortable with things. Is there anything that I didn't answer completely for you that you'd like to know more about? Hey, we finished the day here. This feels like it was a long interview. Is this how long you normally interview candidates? turn around the conversation a little bit. Don't be just another candidate that they're talking to. Be interesting to them, engaging. These people that you're going to talk to are going to be sitting there and talking to a half dozen other folks. Okay, here comes Rocco. Let's see what Rocco has to say. I don't know Rocco from anybody. I have a sheet of paper here that says what his qualifications are. Let's see if Rocco impresses me. You don't necessarily have to impress the interviewer, but have the conversation. When you have the conversation and they remember you because you said something, don't try and say something witty, but you said something compelling. Go for it. Lean into that. Okay? Ask them questions. Get them talking about things. I've found success interviewing all the time with that. Have some good and bad scenarios ready. How do you handle, for sure, resolving conflict? Yeah, that's not bad. No. Don't search for answers on your phone. Quite frankly, put your phone away. And don't look at them. Don't look at it at all. So, good luck. That's a great response also. That's a great response also. Hey, I wrote, you know what? I'm not quite sure about that. Let me write this down. Can I get back to you? I don't know. Right? Even if you're on a PC, they can hear you type. Even if you put your microphone on mute, they're going to suspect that you went and did something or you talked to somebody. So, yep, turn off your phone. Let me ask ChatGPT. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. Thank you, Syntactic Sugar. Appreciate the... Right, and that click-through works. Yeah, look at that, Syntactic Sugar. And it should find... Like, if I go to Napalm here, right, it should have Napalm. That's not right. That's the wrong... Well, you know what? I didn't have it bring the user picture in here yet, did I? So I need to do more work on this page. Let me ask Fritz. There you go. Hey, let me ask Fritz. I know this guy Fritz. You might have heard of him. C# Fritz. Let me go over there. Phone should never be around you during an interview. Junie's spot on there. And right, that's right. She's right for not just tech interviews with Microsoft, but anybody you interview with, right? You're going to go interview at the local Taco Bell because you want to get free tacos working there. Sure. You can do that. Don't have your phone now. Don't do that. Yeah. Everybody loves Taco Bell, right? Okay. Fritz is behind ChatGPT. That's right. I'm over here. Ooh, somebody else is asking a question. And if you ask the congressmen and congresspeople and senators in the United States government, they think there's a little man behind a curtain that's answering every one of your searches. That you're coming up to them and you've got a question written on a slip of paper and you're handing it to them. They're looking at it and going, I know how to answer this. And because you're from this political persuasion, I'm going to answer it in a way that makes you unhappy. No, there isn't. That's not how this works. The internet is a series of tubes. Did we learn nothing from Ted Stevens? Poor Ted Stevens no longer with us in his bridges to nowhere in Alaska. Shut your door? No, actually, I'm going to disagree with Napalm on this one. Shut your door, and if you have a pet, make sure they are taken care of. No. Having a pet? Microsoft is different like this. Having a pet that wanders on camera or asks for your attention is okay. Make sure they're taken care of and that they've been taken out, the dog's been walked, something like that. A pet asking for your attention on screen is okay because it makes you human. having to get up. I'm sorry, I've got to go take care of. Sparkles here needs my attention. I'm sorry, I have to cut this short. I need to go take care of that. That won't go over. Random pet crossings. If you have a cat that walks by in the background, a cat that comes over and lays down on a shelf behind you, that's okay. So, train your pets to walk in wearing a C-sharp cap. Yes, absolutely. Our friend Fairy Wings has all kinds of clothes for her cat. Yeah, we need to get Ryu, Fairy Wings cat. We need to get Ryu a super C-sharp T-shirt to wear. It is definitely company dependent. The culture of Microsoft is such that that's okay. You don't want to be interviewed during the interview. I have had to. It's been a long time since I've interviewed. I have had to get up and excuse myself from an interview because a family emergency came up. Hey, can I give you a call back tomorrow? I've got a problem that just happened. I need to go take care of this. I'm really interested in hearing more and talking through this. But unfortunately, thing happened. It's okay to have an emergency, but make it an emergency that you're stepping away from. So, your niece doesn't like Taco Bell? Oh, no. I need to get the pause button working here. But some companies are too stiff about interruptions. Yes, they are. And you might be able to search for one that is very stiff about interruptions. I'm not saying any names, but you might be able to search and find them. Just saying. Okay, moving on. So, remove moderator. I think that should be similar here. Moderators remove. We're going to put an async John over here. And we're going to call the same invoke async right there. And that'll do the rebuild. And I don't know if it did the rebuild. It'll do its thing. Can I put together the approve? The approve button deal? On new moderator, new moderator, remove moderator. So I've got these two, and I have the new content. All right, so we're back up to speed. When there's a new approved message, handle approved message. Yep. And mark the message as approved. Yeah, we can probably wire that back in. Right? Handle approved message here. So I need to figure out what to do there, and updating the pause queue is okay. And we actually had a little bit of feedback from the folks at .NET Conf while they were running Tags app, that it'd be nice to have a little number down here so that they could see how many messages are waiting in the pause queue. So when I used to work at Blockbuster, Taco Bell was across the entrance to the shopping center. You'd go there for break. Jed, you know what? I used to work at the local McDonald's, and Taco Bell was 2 blocks down. They were a block past Burger King. The guys that worked at Burger King, and I do mean guys, it was mostly guys that were working. The guys that worked at Burger King, they didn't want to do any kind of trade food thing. But our managers knew the managers at Taco Bell because they used to work together. So we'd call down to Taco Bell and we'd trade food. Hey, we'll bring you a half dozen quarter pounders if you send back to us a dozen tacos, because 2 tacos was about the same as a quarter pounder. There was a going rate there for tacos versus quarter pounders. So we would, after lunch, right? All the restaurants go on a lunch break about the same time. send whatever 16-year-old just got their car and they were so excited to go driving, send them down with a half dozen quarter pounders for tacos coming back. And when you're working at the fast food joint, you get tired of your own food. So to be able to do that trade was awesome. And then we had events where, like the local school was, like the first time it happened that the local school was running a fundraiser at our McDonald's, right? And it was McDonald's, and I appreciate what the organization did for me growing up and teaching me how to be a good employee. When we ran the first of these, and all the fast food joints do this now, right? That kind of that sponsored event for the local, right, the local elementary school or whatever. And hey, for every dollar that comes in, you know, our profit we'll donate all of our profit, except, you know, all of our overhead we'll donate. Okay, fine. So you ended up with like a handful of the teachers running the cash register that night, and everybody came out, and the police were literally outside directing cars and parking at the shopping center across the street. So at the end of the night, we put together a couple bags of food for the cops. And, you know, they came by and said, okay, it looks like everything's done. We're going to clean up all the traffic cones and whatever, and we're going to clear out of here. So our managers handed off a couple bags of food to each of the guys. You know, hey, thanks so much for each one of the cops, each one of the, I don't remember if there were any, I think it was only, whatever, to a bunch of the cops to say thank you for the night. And that right, it's little things like that that as a restaurant employee in, right, that working at fast food, you know, it's kind of a thankless job, but being able to do those little things to help out other folks. Hey, you know what? Here's a cheeseburger. Really cool, right? That's kind of nice. On the deprecated removing old things, just ran into an issue this morning where we were still using System Data SQL Client and moving to Microsoft Data SQL Client. Ah, yeah. There is a little bit of difference in there. But difference for, I don't know, I don't want to say difference for good reason, but improvements. So, we're good. I do need to wrap up in about a half hour. I have a meeting at 1 p.m. sharp. So, all right. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so we need to figure out what the approved message deal is. And new rejected message. Oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Thank you. Connection. Oh, you know what? Ooh. I did a lowercase button in there. That's better. And this is going to be async, because we're going to drop in the same invoke async. Yay, invoke async. Thank you. Okay. So when a message is rejected, we notify everybody else so that it appropriately gets rejected in those other places. Yeah, I hate those types of transient errors as you're migrating. They're things where that's where the combination of documentation, and going back to the beginning of stream today, the combination of documentation and Roslyn Analyzer can help throw errors and put those messages in front of you. And if it is right and a known error, give me a code fixer that changes it to the new syntax. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we need to put a deal in here too. Can we make that? Can we just make that an async task? Is it okay running out of? Yes. Okay, good. On new moderator. Did I already have that? No, it won't collapse. New blocked user. Hey, Electric Havoc.
Electric Havoc just resubscribed for 60 months. Awake streaking.
We're going streaking! Woohoo!
People know me.
No, they don't, because you're going streaking.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
All right. How you doing there, Electric Havoc? 60 months with us, 5 years. Thank you so much for that support. I will be making a donation for that. Thank you so much. It is a long time. I received the notification from Twitch this week. Sure, that sounds good. That my streamer partner anniversary is next week. Here's the problem. Next week I'm in Stockholm for Svitog. So we're probably going to wait and do a celebration the week after. Yeah. So new moderator, departed moderator. Yeah, I don't have them. Let's put these back in. On new moderator. Actually, what? Hang on. There's new moderator. There's remove moderator. I don't need. These were the methods from the service. I can get rid of those. Same thing with this one. Ha-ha! And we don't have moderation service. Yay! Makes my life so much easier deleting code. Because everybody loves to delete code. More than two of your marriages? Two? Who are you, Liberace? With the number of times that dude got married? Mardi Gras week celebration. Oh, okay. All right, so we still need to figure out how to approve and reject, but we also haven't actually wired up the approve and reject buttons yet. So I think I put them inside the moderation message, right? F12? Yes. So there's the on mouse over. There's the moderation buttons. Navigation manager, navigate to. Stelzy!
Steel79 just resubscribed for 56 months.
Thank you so much. And I'll make another donation. Appreciate it. Hang on. Don't know. So here, these two. I think I want to pass a method in for this to trick. For this to trigger. Yeah, here. All right, so on moderate. And the moderation action contains the reason and who the moderator is. Well, I don't. Okay. So let's add methods here, right? On click. On click. And I'll add those methods. That's not bad. New moderation action. Provider must be must be set. Oh, okay. Sure. Right. Provider ID. Sure. Give me one of those. What else are we missing? Content ID isn't a thing. What else? Moderation action state. Approved. Right. What else do we need? Timestamp. Okay. Sure. Yep. There we go. Right. You were supposed to. Thank you. Cool. So that's going to pass up the stack. When I send it up to the server, I'm going to detect who you are and fire that appropriately. So I'm going to do the same thing with... Is it the same? It's exactly the same, except it's a different state there. Could I just make this... Moderation state. And then I don't need this. And instead up here I can do moderation state approved. Fancy. And just change this one to rejected. So now my moderation objects, right, my messages, have a way to attach, right? Attach an event. Hey, what do you want me to do when this happens? So it's going to evoke async, and it's going to pass in the moderation action. We're going to collect that and send it off to the server. Because on the server... There it is. We're going to call set status. And we're going to pass through that information. Oh, this is going to be so good. Watch this. Watch this. Are you ready for this? Watch this. So here, on moderate equals, yeah. So I'm just going to create a method down here somewhere called moderate. Right? Async task moderate, and we know that it is going to take a moderation action. So connection invoke async. That's pretty darn close. Set status. And we're going to pass back a provider ID, and the new state. So it's going to be action, provider, action, provider ID, action, state. And now we want to tag that message so that it appears appropriately. No, we're not going to do that. Tag message appropriately to indicate moderation state. Which actually should probably be in here, right? Like, I'm not just invoking that, but I could probably go up here to content. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you like that? It's a record. What's the width here? Oh, darn it. Moderation timestamp. Yes. Yes. It's not moderation state, it's just state. I think that's it. I don't need a reason because this is a human doing this. So when I make that change, there's updates to classes in here. We're going to need to put in play. Okay. Have I considered turning on editor hints so viewers can see types on var params? Not the diagnostics. Inline parameter name hints. Sure. I'm not sure it's going to show here in... Yeah, so that hint appears. We'll see them pop up. But, yeah, should have had that turned on so that it was a little bit easier. The only reason, primary reason I don't show it is folks will sometimes look at that and go, what is that? Where did that thing come from? I'm not familiar with seeing that. But using var and having it show, here's the application type, the variable type. Sure. I'm cool with that. Okay, so the moderate, so that should moderate and kick stuff back. But I also need to update the state of the actual message so that it reflects, hey, it's been approved or whatever. So it pushes, right, a class of status approved, status rejected. Private static string CSS approved. And its status rejected. So, and those more classes get pushed on where? Additional class. New message on the article, they get pushed. Here. Let's make that a... How about that? Do we have the stream on VOD? It is on... It is on Twitch. It is also over on YouTube. Yep, all the stream VODs are on YouTube now. Yep. So... Okay. Yee! Uh-oh. I broke it. Element reference capture. Unexpected frame type. No. Refresh. Look at that. No. That feels like an issue with the rebuild. With the hot reload, it like patched wrong or something. Right, everything's saved. There we go. So now, right, I should be able to approve. And it didn't do anything. Why didn't it do anything? I don't know. Does it work? I'm clicking. Oh. No, I wired up the moderation message. Click. It should moderate. Send moderation state approved. So it should have called... I need to make this an async task and await. All right. Yeah. It's deleted implementation. It needs to restart. Here we go. Okay, reloaded. There we go. It did pick it up. Now, it's interesting. It's waiting to change the color. Oh, and look, the reject message. Right, the reject state. See, it's... No, it saved them. The rejected message isn't appearing. And if I go over to Waterfall, some of those messages should start appearing. Ha-ha! Okay. That didn't... Doesn't look like it's rejecting. Moderate, yeah. Should have rewritten it right there. I'm not updating the UI. Put this first. No. It's not taking the rejection there. That's nuts? What's nuts? Why you do this? Oh, moderation timestamp. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't take kindly to rejection. Rejected. Content state rejected. Good. But it didn't update like additional classes. No. Shouldn't have to, but welcome. Approve. State change to approved, but content state. And it's clearly doing it because when I reload, it's changed state. It's just not updating the user interface. So what's it saying are the additional classes on that? Status rejected. So okay, so let's turn this into a regular get set then. Right? equals content dot state. Oh, watch this. Right? Yeah. And I'm going to put that exact same. Rebuilding. I think we get this. I think we got this. There it is, refreshing. Okay. So I'll reject that. No, it didn't change it. Status approved. But if I refresh the screen, it does have it. So I'm changing the CSS class on the article, but it's not picking it up? Status approved. But it's not updating the classes on that actual element. No. And it still says status rejected. Even though we told it. What the heck? We're in an on-click handler. Yeah, not just the console. Well, yeah, sure. Right? Status rejected, but it doesn't change the. It still says status approved, even though it says rejected. Hang on, we have the reference. Like, what do we have here? No. I don't want to write JavaScript to do this. Do I actually need that? Yeah, it does the resize grid item. And it's not throwing any kind of an error. I've got 2 errors up top, and they're 404 errors. It is properly saving. It is properly setting the property on this component, something's not quite right here. Because it should pick up that text change for that property and roll it out. There it is, reloading the page. There's the content. Status approved. But it still has status rejected. It's I had it as an auto proper, not an auto, right? Rebuilding. I wanted to force a re-render. State has changed should do that. Reloading. And I'm going to keep picking on this. Doesn't take kindly to rejection. There it is. Status rejected. And it... still says status approved. It's like I could understand if this was different, that it was rejected and it was still approved over here. I would get it. That would, okay, there's something wrong there. But it's clearly setting the value. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? Like, that's properly picked up the values from the button press. $12:56. Yep, that's what my clock shows. Local time. Status rejected. Rejected. That looks right. No, there aren't really any other methods on the element reference. No. No. I do. We should wrap up. I'm going to commit my changes to because even though I don't have, thank you, Jed, for reminding me. Even though I don't have this completely working, it works. It's just not updating the user interface with the class properly. So let me just wrap this part up. Connected moderation buttons. That's a big step forward. Fine, we did some text formatting. There we go. That is a big step forward to getting this all running again normally. There's still some CSS around the outside and some formatting of the content, but we have content flowing through to the waterfall and appearing from our moderation screen. I feel really good about this, and I'm ready to move forward. Once I get this little piece done, do some final cleanup stuff. Got to wire up the blocked user screen, which should be trivial. There's not much there. And I think we're going to be really close to putting a bow on this and saying it's Blazor now. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate you joining me and us writing some code together today. Your feedback as we're writing stuff. Check out the source code to TagsApp. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link just below. If you're watching on Twitch, there's a link right at the top of chat, okay? Lots of great stuff happening there. It's completely open source. You can download, tinker with it, and we're going to add more capabilities to it in the weeks and months ahead. And you're going to see it used at other events that I manage. We'll announce and share those exactly as those happen. There we go. I've got to run. Let me get you connected with another streamer here on Twitch. I'm going to send those of you that are watching on Twitch, I'm going to send you over to, yeah, let me get you over to, there. Well, hey, let me, Lana Lux, I mentioned about, I did a podcast with her. We're going to do a raid and go over to our friend Lana Lux. Thank you so much for watching. I will see those of you on YouTube. Check out some of the great videos that we have over here, down below. There's playlists somewhere. If you're watching on Twitch, get ready to say hi to our friend Lana Lux, and I will see you. I'll see if we can stream on Tuesday next week before I take off for Stockholm. If not, it'll be the week after, all right? Have a great rest of your day. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care. Yes.